Smart Chiropractor Show Mindset Mentor segment. That is where we kick off each and every week because you have to get things straight up here before all of the strategy takes place. Jason, we're going to start by talking about biology of belief is our weekly topic on the Mindset Mentor segment. I'm going to kick it over to you. What does biology of belief mean, and why should everybody watching and listening pay attention to this segment on today's show?
Well, you touched on it. Let's expand on it a little bit more. You know, our goal here in doing the Smart Chiropractor Show each and every week is to show up, hopefully show up big and say something that adjusts your mindset that will shift the way you take actions for the better. And exponentially, those improvements create massive growth financially, personally, practice-wise, and so on. And what I wanted to talk about here today, this has been a great segment for me because I get to get digging back into the things I love most. And the reason for this is not just to feel good. It's not. That is a great byproduct. But just so everybody's clear, because many people, you know, probably about half, maybe even more, like to skip over the, you know, ethereal, non-tangible stuff. Just give me the data. Just give me the ROI. I want to see the evidence. Just, you know, put it in front of me and I'll take action. And here's the reality that just about every coach will tell you, and I don't just mean chiropractic coach, I mean every coach anywhere, any mentor, that you can give the same instructions. You can even give the same tools to 10 different people and you get 10 different results. And so the question becomes, what is the difference? And there's lots of possible answers to that. Environment is a possible answer. Who you are in terms of your physical appearance is a possible answer. But the number one common denominator between all of them has everything to do with how you think, how you show up, how you think about yourself. Your results can only be as good as your belief in yourself, your self-identity. If you think of yourself as someone successful, you will get different results than someone who thinks that they just can never catch a break and bad things always happen. And wherever you are on that spectrum will influence your results. And that's something a lot of times people skip over. And that's very frustrating for us. It's one of those self-awareness conversations because a lot of times when we shop for ideas, you know, when we think about who should we work with, when we think about who should we hire, what should we purchase, we oftentimes think that the best way to know the thing we should get is based on the results of the thing. Oh, I did this ad program. Look at my ROI. Yeah, but funny, it didn't work for me the way it worked for them. And on and on and on. So mindset matters. It does. And what I wanted to really just sort of break down, I was going through, I watch YouTube videos on a regular basis while I'm doing my morning routine. And I came across some videos by a friend of mine, probably a friend of yours, maybe even a teacher of yours, Dr. Bruce Lipton. If you don't know anything about him, he's not a chiropractor, but he has taught for many years at chiropractic schools, been an amazing chiropractic advocate. I know he taught at Life West for a while. And I actually had the honor years ago when I was in practice and he wasn't as big of a celebrity as he is now, he would teach at my practice. He gave lay lectures to my clients in my practice. And I remember at the time it was so heavy, so intense, you know, proteins and nanoproteins and everything. He literally would not stop for hours teaching my patients all about exactly this topic. The biology of belief. He previously used to call it fractal biology. And basically, in a nutshell, what it is it's an understanding of cellular biology, how the individual cell works. And when he describes the mechanisms of an individual cell, he then extrapolates that out for cells turn into or are organs. Organs are people. People are groups or communities, and communities are the world. He takes the microscopic and makes it macroscopic by understanding certain principles of the cell. For example, cells can only be in either growth or protection. They can either be growing towards something good or not and this is the point, or protecting themselves from danger in survival. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because if you understand on a cellular level that that's the case, then you extrapolate that out. We then have to understand our responsibility in our success. Meaning, if you're living mentally in constant fear, protection, you will take very different actions. Your biology will be different, and your ability to communicate, the collective consciousness will be different if we're collectively living in fear versus if we're living in growth. It is one of many different examples that he gets into. Now, he's a medical doctor, taught at medical school, and he's now become a celebrity, like our previous mentioned, Dr. Joe Dispenza, worldwide, internationally renowned speaker and author who's very well grounded in chiropractic philosophy and principles, teaching people that the way to be successful in life starts with your beliefs. And he does a remarkable scientific, medically based job of explaining that your intention affects everything. If you go to the quantum physics model, that the particle or wave appears based on the intention of the observer, then that will change your life and understanding of how everything in the universe works. I don't mean to get so heavy on all this stuff early on, but these are the adjustments in our mindset that make the quantum difference in your results. So can't go into all of it right here, right now. It's a brief segment for us to just sort of, scratch the surface and go, that's interesting. Check out Dr. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief. His videos on YouTube are fantastic. His book is great. His lectures are phenomenal. He's just a terrific guy, and I highly encourage you, just get a sense for, does his voice and does his mannerisms and does the way he communicates this big idea resonate with you? If it does, then I think you might find yourself on a pathway of just taking a whole nother level of self-responsibility for your success. And I'll simply end with, that is where this all starts. You are responsible for your success. It is not an external event that happens. It's not when this happens, I'll feel this way. It's when I feel this way, this will happen. Now, I know that doesn't happen on our timetable that we all want. All of us have that. But understanding nature's law, understanding natural principle, and understanding quantum physics may just radically change for the better your understanding of what it's going to take to be successful. Jeff, what are your thoughts? I know you've seen some of Bruce's work, heard about it. We've talked about it. What do you say?
I really love this topic because it is something that, in my opinion, docs out there should open their minds to. There are certainly people in our profession that love Bruce Lipton. There's many perhaps watching right now that haven't heard of him. We'd encourage you to get out there. And I know that there's a faction that says he's fringe. He pushes the envelope too far. It's a little too woo-woo for me, or he's stretching things. And I'd caution those individuals really that are on that side of the fence, because the possibility is what we're all after in terms of life. And I don't mean to get too philosophical here as well, but I think it's a very wise man, woman, who takes the time to analyze, to explore, and to really, assess the possibility of what's possible within their own life, within their own, life arc. And Dr. Lipton, Bruce, I think, does a great job exploring that possibility. It doesn't mean you need to necessarily go into every single level or go as in-depth as he does. But as you described right then, Jason, very, very well, this is a matter of, we only get one shot. And over the course of our lives, our ability to curate our own experience, that is true. It's a universal truth. Everybody can acknowledge that. And I think we should, not only just as chiropractors, but as people, appreciate those individuals, some of who you brought up the last few episodes, some of who we'll explore in subsequent episodes, that take it and do push the envelope a little bit, because that's how we learn. And some of it we might say, hey, that's actually a different direction. Some of it will turn out to be exactly what we know to be true in 30, 40 years, and then look back and say, how did we ever not know this? And part of that pushing the envelope is the exploration process. And some of that is what I'm going to call, the hope of possibility. And I think that's an important thing that all of us need to keep in mind as we set our mindset, because it is dynamic. It's constantly changing. It's not one way. There's so many multifactorial components of it that all of us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as citizens of the world should be open to possibility and explore those individuals who are pushing the envelope, because it only helps us. And I know before we get to clinical conversations, you'll have a few words on that.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Bruce summarizes it basically by just simply saying, many people in the world live with the philosophy that seeing is believing. And what Bruce is trying to say is that believing is seeing. And that may sound wacko, that may sound fringe and crazy. It kind of does when I even think about it. So if it feels weird, check it out. Go listen to what he has to say. Listen to him articulate it. It's hard to summarize all the explanation for why that makes sense. But if you're looking to really break through, and that's, in fact, one of the things I will say about this, that most of us are simply living a habit. We are living a pattern of our beliefs, of who we are, what we think we deserve, what we think, as you said, that's possible for us, and what we think is impossible for us. And those thoughts, again, particle or wave, based on the observer's intention. That is a scientific reality of quantum physics versus Newtonian physics. And these are the controversial conversations that are being had right now. You just don't sell as many pharmaceutical drugs in the quantum physics model as you do in the Newtonian physics model. And we're just living in a bizarro world, warped reality of whatever you want to call it. Some call it science, some call it corruption, some call it confusion. I don't know what to call it anymore. We're just going to call it the way we see it, as it is. And again, stay focused on the things we can change. And your mind is one of those things. So that's what we're going to work on each and every mindset mentorship week here on the Smart Chiropractor. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you'll join us next week as well.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.